Hello everyone, today's video I'll be reviewing the Funhouse from 1981. It's a slasher teen horror movie made by Universal Studios. It was directed by Tobe Hooper. After his success with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he made Salem's Lot, this movie, Poltergeist, and the remake to Invaders from Mars. It was produced by Stephen Bernhard, Derek Power, Mace Newfield, and Mark L. Lester. It was written by Larry Block. The movie stars Elizabeth Berridge, Cooper Huckabee, Laura Woodruff, Miles Chapman, Sylvia Miles, Wayne Doba, and William Finley. It was released on March 13, 1981. The Funhouse is about teenage Amy who lies to her parents that she's going on a double date with her friends at the movies, but instead she's going to this carnival from out of town that her father forbid her to go to because of mysterious crimes that have happened at that carnival. Amy's friend's boyfriend suggests they should spend the night at the carnival thinking it would be fun and cool. They witness a murder by a deformed worker who wears a mask. Amy and her friends try to find a way to stop the carnival workers from going to the next town to prevent more crimes and murders. The movie opens up ripping off and mocking Psycho and Halloween. Instead, little brother fakes a prank on his older sister thinking that she was killed in the shower. She said that she will get him back and be afraid that she will get him back when he least expected, and will not take him to the carnival that she promised. And yet, we never see that. Similar how the money did not mean anything when Marion Crane is murdered by Norman Bates' mother that we assume in Psycho. Unlike Texas Chainsaw Massacre that was shot low budget, had a grainy documentary look, this was one of Tobe Hooper's first big budget movies. Because this was made by Universal, Tobe Hooper was able to use product placements of the Universal monsters, posters, photos, and other stuff. The kids' room is full of Universal monsters. Now that's awesome. The movie starts slow with your guard down, seeing the teenagers have a good time, laughing, going on rides, playing games. Girl falls in love with a guy or maybe Prince Charming. The characters are just okay. They're nothing special. They're just cliche what we know who's going to live and die. When the younger little brother sneaks out to catch his older sister with her friends, because he knew that she was lying to not go to the movies, and one would think that he was going to be kidnapped by the carnival workers, and the older sister was going to save his life despite what he did to her earlier in this movie. That could have been interesting, but that's not the case here. Instead, one of the carnival workers finds him, calls up his parents, and he gets home safely. Amy's a rebellious teenager. Despite being around her friend, doesn't feel like she belongs, and she's not very comfortable at times for lying to her parents. I'm not going to the movies. Instead, she goes to the carnival that her father forbid her to go to. And just because she's dating this guy does not always mean it will work out, or it's meant to be. Despite Amy having a nude scene, premarital sex, she does not die, unlike the cliche Scream rules pointed out in slasher movies, no sex. That just shows that's BS and a stereotype in slasher horror movies, or any horror movies in general. Amy was played by Elizabeth Berridge, who will go on to star in the period biographical drama film Amadeus, which I still have not seen yet. After the teenagers see the man dressed as the Frankenstein monster kill the psychic, this is where it gets scary and interesting. It has similar elements to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Instead of college students, they are teenagers, despite one of the actors was 30 years old playing a teenager when doing this movie. Similar how Steve McQueen was 28 in The Blob, despite playing a 17-year-old teenager in that movie. Instead of going to a serial killer's house, they're at some carnival, the teenagers. Like in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, tortures the teens psychologically when the kid's trying to escape the carnival after witnessing the murder. The guy dressed up as Frankenstein's monster, like Leatherface, mumbles, does not speak, is an outsider to the world, but he dies in the end, unlike the fate of Leatherface, who lived in the end in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Sally gets away from Leatherface, Amy survives and is traumatized from the previous night. Kevin Conway plays 3 different characters in this movie, similar how Eddie Murphy plays multiple characters in a scene like in Coming to America and The Nutty Professor. It has very creepy, scary visual atmosphere. Inside the carnival, set designs are cool and creepy. One of the client animatronic design looks like Captain Spaulding from Devil's Rejects. When Amy's date is killed, the animatronic clown comes out as holding her date corpse. If you look closely, the clown has a similar Pennywise look. Hey Amy, you wanna go on a date? Watching this movie reminded me of the last time I went to a carnival in summer 2019, after graduating from college before COVID was around and existed. In a weird way, watching this when the teenage group were having fun, it made me think how much I miss what life was like before COVID, before wearing a mask, in public, having a social life, and not worrying about a lethal deadly virus that killed easily and was dangerous. Just minus the crazy murders in this movie by the carnival workers. This movie shows how we think that carnivals are fun, but we don't know the dark secrets behind closed doors in carnivals. This is another good horror movie on creepy, scary, haunted carnival amusement parks. This idea always seems appealing to horror fans, especially if they have been or read about creepy abandoned carnivals or amusement parks. This idea for horror is one of my favorites in the subgenre. Too bad they don't make horror movies that much on haunted carnivals, amusement parks. Except maybe an American Horror Story Season 4 Freak Show, but that's a TV show, a completely different story. I've seen YouTubers like Adam the Woo make YouTube vlogs, go and explore abandoned amusement park rides that are no longer open and are considered haunted. This movie may not be great or a masterpiece, I still recommend it. Definitely check it out and give it a watch. If you like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you might like this one too. So that was my movie review of The Funhouse by Tobe Hooper. Hope you liked the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, get the latest updates on my YouTube channel, and I will see you next time.